America's favorite pastime isn't baseball or binge-watching Netflix. It's complaining. And nobody does it with more Olympic-level stupidity than Walmart shoppers. From people offended by the laws of physics to those who think fish need discipline, these aisles have become the ultimate complaint arena. So buckle up, return your sanity at customer service, and let's explore 49 of the dumbest, weirdest, and most brain-melting Walmart complaints ever recorded. Trust me, after this, you'll never look at the manager on duty sign the same way again. 1. A woman walked up to the customer service counter holding a half-eaten rotisserie chicken like a crime scene exhibit. Her complaint wasn't about taste or quality. She said the chicken didn't make her feel the same anymore. Apparently, her dinner didn't deliver the usual emotional journey. When the manager refused a refund for poultry-induced sadness, she accused him of chicken shaming and stormed off, leaving the half-eaten bird behind as a greasy breakup letter. Somewhere, a therapist added emotional attachment to roasted meat to their session notes. 2. One man filed a written complaint saying Walmart's automatic doors were too emotionally available. He said the way they opened too quickly and too eagerly made him feel manipulated, like the doors were love-bombing him. His solution? Make the doors slower, colder, and emotionally distant so customers don't develop false intimacy with the building. Imagine walking in and the door just sighs, "Do whatever you want." Honestly, that's the kind of energy every door in America should have. 3. At the deli, a woman nearly lost her mind because an employee washed her hands too often. She complained that all that extra hygiene was slowing down her turkey slices. Her logic? Once per shift is enough. It's soap, not surgery. The worker tried explaining food safety rules, but she wasn't having it, muttering something about government overreach in the lunch meat industry. Somewhere, the CDC screamed into a pillow. 4. A man stormed up to customer service fuming because the greeter didn't say hello as he walked through the exit doors. He said it was a violation of social trust. The greeter pointed at the giant red letters saying EXIT, but he wasn't interested in logic, only validation. This man demanded an apology for being ignored while actively walking the wrong way. Sir, that's not rebellion. That's just stupidity with confidence. 5. Over in the pet aisle, one woman demanded to speak to a manager because, in her words, the fish are swimming too chaotically. She felt their random patterns were bad role models for children. Her fix? Train the fish to swim in synchronized lines, even offered to teach them aquatic discipline on weekends. The employee nodded politely while one goldfish silently planned its escape. Somewhere, Poseidon facepalmed. 6. A man confidently walked up to the service desk holding a used pregnancy test. He wanted a refund because, according to him, it was defective. Why? His girlfriend was definitely pregnant, but the test said negative. When told that's not how biology works, he doubled down, claiming the test failed to detect the truth. He was trying to return a piece of plastic because it didn't agree with his gut feeling. Sir, that's not a malfunction. That's denial. 7. One man complained that Walmart's fluorescent lights were assaulting his aura. He claimed the brightness was spiritually aggressive and disrupted his vibrational alignment. He demanded the store install dimmer switches or chakra-friendly bulbs so he could shop in harmony with the universe. The employee offered him sunglasses. He sighed and said, "You clearly don't understand energy work." "Buddy, this is Walmart. We barely understand receipt paper." 8. In the garden center, a man accused Walmart of botanical fraud. He said the potted plants weren't real because real plants grow free in nature, not enslaved in plastic pots. He called it eco-capitalist oppression and said Walmart was imprisoning vegetation. The manager gently reminded him they were literally houseplants. He left vowing to liberate the begonias. Somewhere, a fern whispered, "Please don't." 9. A woman who lived hundreds of miles away called Walmart corporate in outrage, not about her local store, but about one in another state. She was furious that they didn't carry her favorite brand of goat cheese. She had never been there, but she was emotionally upset for the people who have to live like that. She described it as a dairy crisis. "Ma'am, No one's being held hostage by Brie. 10. One man accused the self-checkout machine of mocking him. After scanning a family-sized cheese puff bag and a single Diet Coke, he said the scanner paused too long, as if silently judging his life choices. He wanted an apology from the programmer for emotional damage caused by algorithmic attitude. Sir, if you're feeling judged by a barcode beep, maybe it's not the machine. Maybe it's the mirror. 11. A woman marched to Walmart customer service holding a single sock like it was evidence in a major crime. She ranted that Walmart should stop selling socks in pairs because she always loses one, and it's part of a global scam run by Big Sock. When the clerk explained that's just how socks come, she accused them of profiting off human forgetfulness. She left muttering about starting a one-sock movement to fight corporate greed, waving her lonely cotton warrior in the air. Somewhere, a dryer was quietly laughing at her pain. 12. A man slapped a losing lottery ticket on the Walmart counter and demanded a refund because, as he put it, it didn't work. The clerk tried to explain luck isn't a product, but he wasn't having it. He insisted the ticket was defective, like a broken blender. The more they explained, the angrier he got, claiming the store sold him false hope. He finally stormed off, shouting that he'd report them to the Gambling Commission of Justice, clutching his worthless ticket like a badge of honor. Somewhere, the universe whispered, "That's not how probability works." 13. One man marched up to the ice cream freezer looking like he'd been betrayed by dessert itself. He slammed down a melting tub of ice cream and yelled that it was too cold, claiming Walmart was endangering people's health by selling products capable of causing brain freeze. When the employee asked if he wanted to exchange it, he said, "No, I want reform." He suggested Walmart sell temperature-adjusted ice cream for sensitive customers. The manager nodded politely, probably wondering if warm ice cream is just milk. Somewhere behind him, a kid ate a cone thinking, "That's not my problem." 14. A man complained that his cashier was way too cheerful. He said her constant smiling was psychologically manipulative, designed to distract him from overcharges. He demanded someone more real, more miserable, more human. The manager sent over a bored cashier who barely said a word. The man sighed in satisfaction, saying, "Now that's honesty." He paid with a smug smile, believing he just exposed a nationwide happiness conspiracy. Meanwhile, the cheerful cashier was already helping the next customer, still smiling, still unbothered, and probably making twice his serotonin levels. 15. One man tried to pay for his groceries with a crisp $500 bill from Monopoly. When the cashier refused, he acted shocked, insisting that alternative currencies should be respected. He claimed he'd earned that money fair and square by passing go. The manager explained that Walmart doesn't accept board game cash, to which he shouted, "That's discrimination against creativity." When they declined again, he left dramatically, muttering about financial freedom. The cashier later found the fake bill crumpled near the carts. It now lives on the break room bulletin board under a sticky note labeled "Economy Genius." 16. A squeaky shopping cart sent one man into a full-blown conspiracy spiral. He said the noise wasn't just annoying, it was psychological warfare meant to stress shoppers into buying faster. He accused Walmart of using weaponized wheels. When the manager offered to swap his cart, he demanded a full recall of all carts and the introduction of stealth models with noise-canceling tech. The employee grabbed a can of WD-40 and fixed it in 3 seconds, but the man frowned, whispering, "Too late, the damage is done." He left, glaring at the carts like they'd exposed his weakness. 17. In the produce aisle, a woman launched a crusade against bananas. She said their shape was too inappropriate for a family store, and demanded they be wrapped in brown paper bags to protect children's innocence. The manager tried to keep a straight face, suggesting maybe she should shop in the apple section instead. She gasped, calling it fruit censorship, and stormed off declaring she'd file an official complaint about obscene produce. As she left, a kid grabbed a banana and laughed hysterically, proving the only real danger here was her sense of humor slipping on reality. 18. After dropping a pickle jar that shattered across the floor, a man didn't blame himself. He blamed gravity. He claimed Walmart's unusually strong gravity field was responsible for pulling the jar too hard. He even demanded compensation for emotional distress and pickle trauma. The manager apologized on behalf of physics, which only made him angrier. He left muttering something about filing a lawsuit against the laws of nature. The janitor quietly mopped up the mess, probably wondering how someone that fragile survives thunderstorms. Somewhere, Isaac Newton just rolled in his grave. 19. A man froze in the clothing aisle, staring at a mannequin like it had wronged him. He swore its plastic eyes were following him as he shopped and said it was violating his personal space. He demanded it be retrained or relocated. The employee moved it a few inches to the left, and the man nodded solemnly like justice had been served. He left muttering, "Now it knows its place." The mannequin, still smiling, didn't say a word. But if it could, it'd probably whisper, "Bro, I'm just molded that way." 20. One man in the soda aisle noticed that his 2-liter bottle also said 2,000 milliliters and immediately lost his mind. He accused Walmart of pushing a secret globalist metric agenda and yelled, "This is America! Keep your milliliters in Europe!" When an employee tried to explain that both are standard measurements, he shouted, "Not in my kitchen!" and stormed off in patriotic fury. The irony? His car's engine, like every American's, is measured in liters. He's probably still out there converting ounces to freedom units somewhere between logic and delusion. 21. A man stood frozen in aisle 5, pointing furiously at one floor tile that was slightly misaligned. He claimed it was throwing off the store's entire energy flow and demanded Walmart fix the imbalance. He said the crooked tile was why he couldn't find ketchup and that it was sabotaging his inner compass. The manager offered to move him to another aisle, but he refused, declaring the store spiritually off-center. "Sir, this is Walmart, not a yoga retreat. The only thing out of alignment here is your logic." 22. A woman stormed into customer service demanding Walmart pay for a dent in her car door. The twist? The damage happened outside during a windy day. She argued it was Walmart's fault for building the store in a wind zone. When told wind isn't covered by corporate policy, she suggested they build a dome around the parking lot. The manager simply nodded, probably picturing the weather lawsuit of the century. She left muttering, "It's always breezy when I shop here." Ma'am, that's called nature, not negligence. 23. A man in the frozen food section filed a serious complaint about false advertising. His issue? The phrase jumbo shrimp. He wasn't mad about the size. He was offended by the contradiction. He said Walmart was violating linguistic honesty and called it a logical fallacy in food form. When the employee offered to call a manager, he said, "No need. I'm filing this with the grammar police." Somewhere, an English teacher quietly applauded his commitment to nonsense. 24. One customer complained that sunlight streaming through the skylight was too aggressive. He said it made it impossible to see his phone screen and demanded Walmart do something about the sun. The employee offered sunglasses. He wanted a tinted dome. He even suggested Walmart reposition the building away from direct light. "Sir, we sell shade, not planetary control." He left dramatically, squinting like he'd survived a solar apocalypse. 25. A panicked man approached an employee near the frozen pizzas, claiming a ghost had just shushed him. He said he felt a cold presence and demanded Walmart perform an exorcism immediately. The employee offered to call maintenance, but he insisted on a priest or Ghostbusters, whichever arrives first. When nothing supernatural happened, he said the ghost must have moved to Target. Honestly, if there's a spirit haunting frozen food aisles, it's probably the ghost of expired pizza rolls. 26. A confused tourist from Europe filed a formal complaint about the store's name, Walmart. He said he came expecting to see a giant historical wall, maybe something like the Great Wall of China. When the employee explained it's just a name, he said, "So there's no wall?" False advertising. He took a selfie in front of the sign anyway, captioning it, "The smallest wall I've ever seen." Sir, the only thing monumental here is your misunderstanding. 27. In the garden section, a woman stood glaring at the decorative gnomes. She told the staff they had smug faces and were creating a hostile shopping environment. She demanded they be replaced with more humble gnomes. When the manager offered to move them, she said, "They'll just stare from there too." She left threatening to call corporate about the gnome problem. Somewhere in that aisle, a plastic gnome quietly judged her back. 28. A woman demanded Walmart compensate her because it was raining outside. She said the gloomy weather ruined her shopping experience and caused emotional distress. She wanted a discount for bravery. The manager tried explaining Walmart doesn't control the weather, but she argued, "It's about accountability." When offered an umbrella, she said, "It's too late, I'm already damp." Somewhere in that conversation, God rolled his eyes. 29. A man wrote a handwritten complaint that Walmart's shopping cart color, plain gray, was soul-crushing. He said it killed shopper morale and made him spend less money. His solution? Repaint all carts vibrant orange to boost impulse buying. The manager smiled and said, "We'll look into it," knowing full well nothing was changing. He left proudly, thinking he'd revolutionized retail psychology. Somewhere, a gray cart squeaked in approval. 30. A patriotic man discovered a tiny Made in China tag on an American flag he was about to buy, and had a meltdown. He waved it in the air, shouting, "This is betrayal," and demanded to speak to corporate on behalf of America. The manager tried explaining supply chains, but he wasn't listening. He was busy giving a speech about freedom next to a stack of discounted fireworks. Eventually, he left, promising to buy a real American flag from Amazon. The irony burned brighter than the flag ever could. 31. A woman in the checkout line wasn't angry about prices. She was upset about her love life. She complained Walmart should offer a singles-only checkout lane so she could meet someone while buying paper towels. She said shopping alone felt emotionally discriminatory. When the cashier awkwardly joked, "We have self-checkout," she gasped, calling that cold and impersonal. She left saying, "No wonder romance is dead. Even Walmart gave up on love." Somewhere between the deodorant aisle and destiny, Cupid called in sick. 32. A man in Walmart's auto center said the smell of tires was clogging his chi. He wanted the entire section scented with lavender and eucalyptus to balance his spiritual alignment during oil changes. The worker offered an air freshener, but he said that was too superficial. He wanted a wellness overhaul. Imagine demanding spa vibes in a tire aisle that smells like rubber and regret. He left saying he'd find a mechanic who respects chakras. Spoiler alert, that mechanic doesn't exist. 33. One man said Walmart's blue uniforms were emotionally oppressive. He claimed the sea of blue vests made him sad and demanded the company rebrand to a happier color, like yellow. The manager smiled and said, "You mean, like Best Buy?" He didn't laugh. He said he was serious about the emotional wavelength of commerce. When he left, everyone quietly agreed. He might be onto something, but mostly onto nonsense. 34. A customer filed a formal complaint because Walmart rearranged the aisles. Specifically, they moved the cereal. He said the change caused mental distress and violated his muscle memory. He claimed his body was programmed to walk to the old spot. The manager tried explaining, "It's just down the next aisle," but he said, "You don't understand, I'm lost emotionally." "Sir, this isn't a breakup, it's breakfast food. Adjust accordingly." 35. A woman took offense at Walmart's store brand name, Great Value. She said it unfairly insults other brands and promotes economic shaming. She suggested renaming it something more neutral, like Moderate Option. When the employee chuckled, she accused him of brand elitism. Somewhere in that aisle, a box of Great Value cereal was silently proud to have caused this much drama. 36. A woman brought a single bottle of shampoo to the register and said she'd take the free one later in the mail. She completely misunderstood the buy one get one free deal. When told both needed to be scanned together, she said Walmart's advertising was a lie. She marched out muttering, "I'll wait for my shampoo delivery." Somewhere, the universe sent her conditioner as a consolation prize. 37. A man complained that Walmart's playlist, those upbeat pop songs over the speakers, was an attack on his refined taste. He said, "Top 40 hits are mental pollution," and demanded classical jazz instead. The manager offered to turn the volume down, but he said, "That's not the point. It's artistic integrity." Sir, this is Walmart, not a coffeehouse poetry slam. Just grab your batteries and go. 38. A mom in the toy aisle demanded Walmart create a quiet zone for introverted children. She said the talking dolls and beeping trucks were too loud and emotionally overstimulating. Her dream setup, dim lighting, soft music, and puzzles. The employee smiled and said, "That's called a library." She didn't laugh. She left saying, "Walmart has no compassion for the sensitive. Ma'am, it's aisle 6, not a meditation retreat." 39. A man approached the pharmacy counter and, completely serious, asked for a health potion. He said he'd been gaming all night and needed instant HP recovery. The pharmacist offered Tylenol, but he said, "That's not magical enough." He left disappointed, mumbling, "Real-world medicine sucks." Somewhere, a wizard facepalmed. 40. A man complained about Walmart's free Wi-Fi. Not the speed, not the connection, but the password. He said Walmart 23 was uninspired and creatively bankrupt. He even brought a list of better options, like Shop for Freedom and Retail Warrior. The employee stared blankly, then asked if he just wanted to connect. He sighed, saying, "You people don't care about branding. Sir, it's Wi-Fi, not a revolution." 41. A man demanded Walmart recall every ruler in the store because they're all wrong. He said he measured his foot, which was exactly 12 inches, but Walmart's ruler disagreed by a quarter inch. He claimed it was mathematical corruption and held up his sneaker like courtroom evidence. The manager stood silently, realizing this man was ready to fight the entire imperial system over a shoe. Somewhere, a tape measure quietly quit its job. 42. A shopper ran to customer service yelling that barcodes were sending him secret messages. He said the black lines were broadcasting thoughts into his brain, forcing him to buy kale. He'd even wrapped his shopping cart in tinfoil to block retail mind control. The manager tried not to laugh as the man whispered, "They can hear us through the prices." Somewhere, a can of beans felt powerful for the first time ever. 43. A man stared at a rollback sticker and said it caused emotional pain. The discounted price reminded him of better days, and he accused Walmart of weaponizing nostalgia. He demanded emotional hazard pay for being reminded of his youth. The cashier said, "Sir, it's literally cheaper now." He sighed dramatically, whispering, "And yet I feel poorer." Somewhere, a price tag rolled its eyes. 44. A man tried to return a "Get Well Soon" card because the person he gave it to didn't get well. He said the card failed to deliver its promise and wanted a refund for false advertising. The employee blinked twice, unsure if this was satire or tragedy. When told greeting cards don't control fate, he muttered, "Then what's the point?" and left like a man betrayed by Hallmark itself. 45. A football fan stormed into the frozen section complaining pizzas were round instead of football-shaped. He said, "Game day food should be aerodynamic." He even drew a sketch of an NFL-approved pizza design for better snack physics. The employee said, "Sir, it's cheese and dough, not a Hail Mary." He nodded and said, "You'll regret mocking innovation." Somewhere, a pepperoni sighed, "Please don't throw me." 46. A man slammed a carton of milk on the counter because it expired on a Tuesday, the day he claimed all his bad luck happens. He said it was a personal attack by the dairy industry. He demanded they change the date to something emotionally neutral, like Thursday. The manager offered another carton. He shook his head. "You can't fix fate with milk." Somewhere, a cow just gave up. 47. A woman stood frozen in the aisle glaring at her cart. Her complaint? "It doesn't have a motor." She said pushing it was archaic and degrading. She wanted Walmart to keep up with Tesla and launch self-driving carts. The employee said, "We already have those. They're called legs." She gasped, whispering, "You'll regret underestimating me," and dramatically pushed her cart like she was in a protest parade. 48. A woman at electronics demanded Walmart price match a blender she saw on a TV show. She said, "They sold it for $20 on that sitcom last night." When told fictional sales don't count, She accused the store of not believing in television. The manager calmly explained that shows aren't real life. She stormed off shouting, "That's what they want you to think." Somewhere, a Netflix writer felt oddly validated. 49. In the soup aisle, a woman complained that the can of tomato soup triggered her abandonment issues. She said the single tomato on the label looked too lonely and wanted the brand to redesign it with happier vegetables holding hands. The employee promised to pass the feedback to corporate, which is retail code for absolutely not. She left proudly, convinced she'd saved future generations from emotional soup trauma. And there you have it. 49 Walmart complaints so dumb they make flat earthers sound like Nobel Prize winners. These people weren't just shopping, they were redefining stupidity at the checkout line. But now it's your turn. What's the dumbest complaint you've ever heard in real life? Was it from a customer, a coworker, or maybe even you? Drop it in the comments below, smash that like button if you laughed even once, and subscribe. Because at BrainFumble, we're just getting started exploring the glorious stupidity of mankind.